Hello, who's ready to have a meeting about meetings? Yeah, there it is. Woo! Okay, everybody, here we go. This is going to be a fun one. Happy hump day to me, you, and everyone else. My name is Hunter. My pronouns are he, they, and you are seeing all these people magically appear before your very eyes. This is the Light Magic AI team. I am so excited that y'all are here. We have all but one Michael. He's got like a real job or whatever, but here we are. But this is super exciting. We're gonna have a great chat today. This is 1 hour long. We are going to be discussing how meetings can be reimagined, how AI can play an effective role in collaboration. So feel free to write in the chat wherever you're watching, LinkedIn, TikTok, all of the things. We will see all your comments here and we will respond accordingly. So a little bit about us here at Light Magic and myself. Like I said, my name is Hunter. I am our change steward and prompt and people person. I love community events such as these. I have a background in acting, can you tell? And also training in DEIMB, which I'm very, very passionate about to make AI. Well, you're like, what are those letters? Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and belonging, because AI can be for all. And if you're on the call, you know how important that is. So we're going to help spread the equity of AI here. And we're going to talk about that in our meeting as well today. So that's us. We are AI. What do? We're human AI. We're human-centric AI solutions. So we offer an intensive, which you can sign up for, which will gear you up for 2024 and a roadmap. And we also, our DMs are open. Reach out to us with your questions. Okay, that's what we got. I am gonna popcorn to my favorite Gen Xer, Ann Murphy.
I love being somebody's favorite Gen Xer. It's the best. Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Murphy. I am an operations person. I'm morphing into an AI operations strategist. I put the word strategist at the end of my title over the weekend because I've decided I've graduated from AI optimist to AI strategist. And I'm one of the co-founders at Light Magic AI. And I'll popcorn over to Tyler.
We get unmuted. Good morning, everyone. I'm Tyler Fisk, one of the fellow co-founders here, and you are our favorite Gen Xer and Team Mama Bear, and like basically just pretty much the coolest mom ever. Just for context, Anne had to jump out of a team meeting the other day because her family was home for the holidays. She was like, I got to go somewhere, guys. We're getting piercings. I don't know where, I don't know when, but we're getting piercings. So that's the fun that we have in meetings, which is what we're talking about today and why we have so much fun in our meetings and how we bring AI into that too, to make these things just even more fun and just expand our culture that we already love and want to foster. So with that, I will quickly popcorn over to, let's go Josh, Mr. Josh.
Cool. Thanks. Hi, Josh Houston. I am at the intersection of our technical and non-technical conversations. So I really like getting into the nerdy automation side of things, but also talking strategy and bringing things out of the cloud onto the ground. That's a bunch of buzzwords and jargon, but here we are, and that's part of the soup we cook. So I'll pass it over to Sarah. Looking forward to the convo today.
Hi, everyone. Sarah Davison. Excuse my voice. I've just been recovering from a bit of a fever. But anyway, I am so glad to be here today. I missed my crew. I missed our meetings. I love to work with AI around strategy, around partnerships, around client stuff. So that's my jam. Love to be here and excited to share some more of what we know and what we do today.
Is that everybody? That's everybody. Oh my gosh, I give that a big thumbs up because I am all about these reactions today. Just watch this one right there. There it goes. Okay, cool. I've been playing with the new toys. That's AI, friends. It can be goofy too. So let's get into our meeting about meetings. This could have been an email. Just kidding. This is important stuff, and we want to empower you to make your meetings, to get the most out of your meetings, right? So let's do a little lightning round, a little truth bomb moment, and we'll go around the circle. Yeah, let's say it's a circle. Sure, if we were in group, we probably would be in a circle here. So how about let's hear a little bit about what are some important key highlights that you all want to focus on with automating meetings and AI. I will. Looks like Anne is frozen in time. Oh, she moved. She's back. Wow. Okay. Josh, hot take. What do you got?
Ooh. Okay, so let's frame the conversation in before, during, or after meetings. And we'll have different takes for different parts and pieces. The thing I'm most excited about with the AI use cases in real time, every day, how we do it, is talking about the meeting assistants that we invite and include in the conversations that we're having. So basically, I don't know if you've ever been in a role like this, but I had a role where I would go to a meeting and be assigned to be the note taker and the person who would document all the thoughts and ideas and conversation, and just trying to keep up with the flow of things as you're writing things out on a, either a computer or your notepad, was a super tedious process that, 2-3 years ago, I just hated getting that assignment. Like, it was not a good time. And fast forward to now, there's a plethora of AI meeting assistants that will come to the meeting with me, take notes, transcribe, record, and basically allow me to focus on being the most present that I can be in that call, focusing on the conversation, not my notes, not my takeaway, not what I need to make sure I don't forget to include, so that the person who didn't make it would be completely caught up and in the loop. So I'm a really big proponent of the part that's inside the meeting, but I think I'll kick it over to Anne to talk about pre-meeting organization and preparation, because she has a great use case to share about that.
Okay, is my internet okay?
You're good.
Yeah, okay. So we're talking about preparing for the meeting, this piece. So I'll just first say that I'm a person who has spent my whole entire career in meetings, and as a result, I can't help but have a hunch that meetings can be done better than we often do them at work. One of the pieces that's so interesting to me is that as I was coming up and wanting to prove myself and always feel knowledgeable, my love language became to over prepare for meetings. And I would spend so much time preparing for meetings that by the time I got there, I was pretty wed to my own ideas. I was pretty wed to whatever data I had analyzed. I kind of felt like I already knew what all the right answers were. And using AI to do my research has really helped me with that, because I'm able to fairly quickly put together information that I can turn into insights without pouring 2 hours into it, right? I think, the longer we spend on things, sometimes the more attached because of the sunk costs, right? So if I spend 2 hours preparing a meeting, pretty attached to those ideas. Now, AI does the information gathering for me and can even prepare me with some insights. And I can go into a meeting with more of a curious, open mind and really focused on listening. So I have been really loving we have got a whole bunch of tools and workflows that we use to prepare us for meetings. We could probably share a little bit about that later. Shall I hand it over to Sarah?
Yeah, I think this is a great segue because I feel the same way. If anyone comes from a background where you're in front of clients and you're in some sort of business development sales role, the way that it used to be was really around trying to be present, but also trying to furiously write notes and make sure you don't forget anything. And I think what AI has helped unlock is that ability to be present, because you know that the note takers are there in the background, ensuring that you're going to be able to collect the data that you're after, so you can focus on the quality of the questions you ask, on the presence that you have within meetings, on ensuring that you're actually getting the right information and kind of making the most out of your limited time that you have with a client or with a partner or whoever. And I think that that's one of my favorite sort of things that AI has helped unlock for me. What about you, Josh? Oh, sorry, you've been.
Yeah, I was gonna say we'll close the loop there. Tyler, if you do you wanna popcorn in segue here?
Yeah, for sure. Hopefully my internet is working. It's been glitching a little bit this morning, so you guys can like thumbs up or thumbs down if I start going out. I would say to lean into like what Ann was talking about with meeting prep. I would say that one of the things that I did even pre-AI is I used a tool called Cloverleaf, which is like a team culture building tool that does personality assessments. So it's like everyone on the team did Enneagram, DISC, 16 types, like all of the things, right? And then it let us know all of the people ahead of time who are going to be at whatever kind of meeting is there. And then it would even give me little inbox tips to tell me, hey, Sarah's going to be at this meeting. She's an Enneagram 3, I think is right. I can't remember. Anne is going to be there. She's an Enneagram 8. This is the way that you're going to be talking about this in the meeting. Like, be sure to do it in this way so that they'll receive it best. This is how they like to receive information. So I took that as a cue, like since I've had AI, and I write a lot of that sort of stuff as context, like into my prompts, so that when I'm doing prep now, I think about for internal meetings, like who's going to be there, what are we talking about, knowing how I deliver things and how are the people that are going to be there best receive that information. And it really helps me like adjust my talking points or just give me tips on how to do that ahead of time. So that's been a way to take like an OG hack and bring it into the AI world. So it's been super helpful in that regard. Hunter, I think you're rounding third base here and finishing it up there. What do you think?
Okay, let's go for a home run here. Well, I think it's so important, like we said, for preparation, right? That's really, really important for me. Is a big use case when I go into meetings. I want to know who I'm talking to, what they're about, so I come prepared and I show how I've done my research, and that makes whoever I'm talking to, whether it's a interview, whether it's a donor meeting, whether it's a potential client, they know that they are in the right hands because I've done my homework on them, and they don't feel like they're walking in blind, like they have to explain themselves or pitch me who they are. They just get to show up and be their authentic selves, which I think is so important, because it inherently, if you're meeting with someone that maybe you don't know, there's a getting to know you phase. But if you already have those bits of information, you can connect with someone in a more impactful way. And then you're off and running. And it's just, honestly, it's just more fun. And I find that people have more fun when when they know there's something to connect on, because that way it's like, oh, they mentioned that they like dogs. Of course, I'm going to bring my Chihuahua into the frame and we are having a good time. And so I love that. Follow-ups we'll talk about. There's like, to bring it, closing the loop. There's so much great summary automation you can do. And I know we're going to talk about both of those bookends of like how you can do your research and be empowered with that, and also the follow-ups. And there's nifty stuff in between that I know we're all going to talk about. So speaking of show and tell, we're going to tell you, and we'd love to hear from you. So if you'd like to ask a question, feel free to drop it in the chat. Okay, so we're going to do a little show and tell, and I think we're going to pitch it over to Tyler, correct? Yes, sir.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
My internet's still glitching, so I'm sorry if it drops on us here. So let me.
Yeah, if you need to drop off your video
up
during your show and tell, that would be fine, I think.
Gotcha. Let me do that then. I'll drop off.
I'll do a tap dance.
And I don't know. There we go. Sorry. All of the things, right? Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay, so here is a respell spell that we've got put together that we've shown off before. And it's basically something that we do for discovery calls for clients to help us prep for meetings so that we come ready to go. Because like as we said in the past, this is something that like we would have had to do ourselves or had someone on our team do ahead of time, which takes a lot of time.
Tyler, question
and
for
so
you.
it's
You
just
said a respell spell. Is it just purely magic? What does this magical tool do on a high level?
Purely magic. No, so on a very high level, it is an AI automation tool. So it allows us to string together prompts, is what they're called, or basically like what you would enter into ChatGPT, for lack of a better terms, and then it runs that on the back end. So on the very simplistic terms, like we just need a client name, a LinkedIn profile if we have that, and their company name, and then from that we will get all sorts of research from the back end. So this is what this looks like. So it's stringing together all these prompts and information that we have about them. That will go out on the internet and essentially do like a SWOT analysis on their company, find out information about the person or people that we're meeting with, and give us like brief bios, and then also identify potential AI use cases for our business, like that we could talk about and bring up that would be applicable for that person and their company in the meeting. And the way that it does that is there's an autonomous AI research agent or series of them in here that go out on the internet and look for that information and bring it back.
Look at this wild net of thoughts. So you put all this together, is that right? You and Josh put this together?
Yeah, we've had this for a minute. I think we did this in like a working session here where we just threw all this together on the team. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, Sarah worked on this too. Yes, this is like all hands on deck. Like this, look at all these things. So like what I'm looking at is starting from left to right, there's all of those initial things that are going off, right? So you have all these different prompts going that are connecting to other things. So like what is that first line of information going on there?
Sorry, it was chopping in and out. You're trying to find out about what the first line of information I think was going into this?
Yeah, just like if this is the page I'm looking at, like that first column that then triggers everything else, like what are you setting the stage with that then goes off and running?
Gotcha. So it is going out and it finds the business's website. It has the client's name. So in this row right over here, these are the goals that we have. So it's trying to understand a specific individual or their prospect's company. It's telling in the prompt of like the sorts of things that we're wanting to find out about them and their organization. It's finding out information about their professional background or interesting points on that. It goes and looks at their LinkedIn page. Crash zoom. It goes and, like I said, performs a SWOT analysis on the company there, and then provides a brief history on the company. So like we're caught up to speed on all these things, and then does that from the company name. So essentially, when you zoom back out, it runs all of those things individually. Some of them get combined back together. And then way over here, you see where we can even have that land into our Slack channel as just like an overall summary at the end. So once we run this, that shows up in our Slack so that the whole team can read it and be caught up to speed.
So what does that look like, that summary at the end? So we have these key takeaways of information about them, and we've done their research, so we know about their company, we know about them personally, whatever they've shared on their LinkedIn, and then we have a nice nifty little document, right, that then we can do our little one pager, we can share with the whole team, and then we're all synced up before we get on that call. And then of course, as humans, we might do some additional research, right? And like, oh, that's really cool. Like we had a client call the other day, and they had another business that was not what we were talking about initially, right? You know what I'm talking about, Tyler. And then we were like, whoa, what's this thing? That's really cool too. Can we talk about that? And that person lit up because they're like, oh, how do you know about that? You know, so it's really great that you can get all this information in one place and then just like hit the ground running with the meeting.
Yeah, like it was to show him as an example of what he could do with some of his clients, we were saying, like, look at the meeting prep we did for yours. Just
yeah, we showed him. We were like, you want to see
Yeah.
our one pager on you?
Yeah.
And he was like,
we were like,
oh,
we were
that's right. And he
fascinated
learned, yeah, he learned some things. He was like, there's that many other companies doing what I'm doing. Wow, that's good to know.
Yeah, exactly. And what it did the total like market cap for the industry that he was in, and even said how many companies in the United States were doing that same thing. And it was interesting for sure. So
yeah. So how long does it take to run that spell, and how much does it cost? About.
I'm going choppy again. Sorry, say it one more time.
Oh, all good. I'm curious, how much does it cost to run that spell, and how long did that information take to get that information?
Okay, to run the spell, it's like a minute or so approximately to get all that gathered up. Like once we have the information, and the model cost on it for just like that one run is, I'd have to go double check, but it's probably less than a dime. Seriously, it's not very much at all.
Right. So now we can see like that. If I had done that personally, that would have taken me hours and hours of my time. So I'm not just eating into, or whoever I'm delegating on my team that's doing that on my behalf, maybe for me, my assistant. Now my assistant can get other stuff done, right? They have that one pager, they ran it. I'm not firing my assistant. I still need them very much. But now that assistant has freed up time, or maybe spoiler, I don't have an assistant. Now I have more time to do what I need to do, right? And go into that meeting even more prepared. Okay, thank you, Tyler. Anne?
Yeah, okay. First of all, tell me if my internet is okay. Is it okay? Okay.
Ooh, more fireworks. Sorry about that. Got very excited. Woo!
So one of the things that I've found to be really helpful is not going into meetings, like I said before, unprepared, but then also going into meetings feeling grounded and like I've got my head on straight. And so oftentimes, like in my life as a fundraiser, we're out on the road, just like, lots of sales folks are. We're out on the road. The hardest part of the job is getting from one meeting to the next on time. And you may just have like 2 or 3 minutes to prepare in the car and like breathe and get yourself centered. So I created a little prompt sequence for this so that, I've done my respell thing, like Tyler just shared, or I've done my research, just using ChatGPT, got a lot of information in my brain. And then what I do is I open up ChatGPT on my phone. So this is because I'm using an example of me being in the car. But if I were just sitting here before a Zoom meeting, here's how I would do that. And basically what this is it's just a series of questions. No, I shared my screen. Is popping up yet? It's there. Okay. So what I do here is I established a while ago, and this is just like every other time when we're establishing prompts. I have this prompt. I'm going to paste it in there right now. I have this prompt that I've developed over time that gives me the questions that I need in order to be like really ready to go for a meeting. And so I'm just going to paste them in here. But, for example, I need to ask myself, are you prepared to listen 80% of the time, right? What clarifying questions will you ask? Don't forget the following, blah, 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 blah. So I have set this up so that it's only supposed to ask me one question at a time. Okay. Are you prepared to listen 80% of the time? So this is a perfect example of sometimes the prompts don't listen to you. Like it's 100% supposed to send me just one question at a time, but it probably will do 2 because it's demoing. Yep, that's okay. I'm going to say, am I prepared to listen 80% of the time? Yes. what clarifying questions will you ask? I'll say, let's see, I'd love to hear more about that. Can you share? Is like a good clarifying question to ask somebody. What are my vivid talking points? I'm going to say, I'm just going to say the sky is blue. That's not a vivid talking point, but I want to get to, oh, shoot, do you have a clear call to action? Yes. So in theory, what this is supposed to do is ask me each of these questions one at a time. I answer the question, and then it gives me a pep talk that says, remember, people too. So like if I'm nervous going into the meeting, it's a little reminder. It says donors are people too. You're right where you need to be, right? Because usually I'm racing between one meeting or one Zoom. It's like, no, you're right where you need to be right now. Listen with your ears and your eyes. So nonverbal cues are as important as spoken words. And then let's not forget you are amazing, and your past success and impact you've made. You shouldn't doubt yourself. And then I send myself a reminder saying, don't forget to send me notes. This is ChatGPT telling me, send me your notes right after the meeting, because then ChatGPT helps me do the meeting follow-up. And yeah, go get them. Enjoy every moment of this opportunity. So it's not, the way it just played out is not perfect, but that's exactly how things always work. And you have to like be able to just, like, I know that that prompt is mildly broken, and it's mildly broken in the same direction as this type of prompt has been broken for like 2 or 3 weeks. Like my GPTs that ask one question at a time, they don't do it anymore. So anyway.
Yeah, it's so interesting because you have to like update them, right? And Josh, you have an idea
Update
around
all
this.
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, somebody told me, by the way.
Jada, yes, thank you,
I
Jada.
love
We do love the
Isn't the affirmations are nice, huh? So someone told me over the weekend that in order that sometimes you have to avoid phrasing things in a negative way. You don't say, like, instead of saying, don't move on to the next question, you say, do wait for a satisfying answer before you go to the next one. But I don't know. Do you guys know anything about that with prompting?
Yeah.
Have you heard that?
So yeah, I've tested a little bit with the same concept. Shared with Tyler, but I don't know how much we've talked about it. But the affirmations based prompt engineering is like one path that I've been exploring, and it behaves really well. I say like these GPTs behave really well when you give them the positives, both in the instructions, like the user message that you would have, but if you're building into the API layer, building some sort of, I call it like affirmation-based system message, where it's reinforcing on the positive side of everything I want it to do, instead of do not do this, do not do that, only do this. Like that's one way to like drill down the consistency. But I found pretty consistently that the affirmation-based, as long as it doesn't take the affirmation and become very dramatic in how it decides to respond to you, giving it that positive direction is really helpful, and will pull out that, I guess in terms of consistently doing the thing you want it to do, like only answering one question at a time, that does help.
I love that. I love that too, because this has been a continual process for myself to rephrase things in a positive way, right? Because as humans, we have what's called a negativity bias, and we only remember more prominently the negative emotions and negative experiences rather than the positive emotions and positive experiences. This is cooked in. I'm going to get a little TED talk here. This is cooked in from survival mode, when we were like running in the wild and surviving from beasts and things. And remember, that's bad. So we don't need that. And so it's interesting that because these are created by humans, right? The LLMs didn't just magically appear. These are things created by humans, and they have some of the same quirks that we do, and they don't respond as well to negative reinforcement, because you're like, when someone says, don't eat another cookie, don't eat another cookie. What am I going to do? I want to eat that cookie. I want to eat that cookie now. So it's interesting that like when you rephrase it with these positive language for myself, I get to translate that to literally to the work that I'm doing, and I get better results. It's pretty wild. And yes, Rich, I love that we're all working through the kinks of prompts that don't respond 100% accurately. I actually appreciate that validation. Yes, unlike some certain demos, this one wasn't pre-recorded in advance to look perfect. You may have heard about something. Not going to name any names, but you know, this is in the wild, you know, and this is what it actually is. It's like, these are the imperfections, and this is what we can do as a team to be like, oh, that's a funny quirk. Let's work on that. Right, Anne?
Yeah, absolutely. And it like speaks to like get buddies in the AI world. So you can say this prompt was working perfectly for 2 months, and now all of a sudden it won't listen to me. Because the other day I was working on a prompt just like this with, we were in like a little community meeting. We were working on GPTs, and we were like, we put each of us on the hot seat to work through our GPTs. And it was interesting because, you know, you think about these like bots and they're super fancy and like they can do all these things, but like literally what we were fixing was the order of the words in the prompt, right? Like I had said something like, I had used some vague word when I needed to use a specific word, and that made the difference. And the only reason why I figured it out was because there were 7 people there. And it's not to say that you can't do AI all by yourself sitting in a corner. You absolutely can. This is to say that it takes like a stick-to-itiveness, because stuff just breaks. And it's so, you could get so disappointed that it broke. But then you just get to like refine it and figure it out. And soon you develop an intuition on what is broken about it.
Yeah, absolutely. That makes me think of something that Josh said to me once about like humans take intuitive leaps, right? And what you just said too, this intuition, right? Like there's code and stuff, but then we have to just be like, oh, I got to go over here. And that is what humans' superpower remains to be, right? That we can make these intuitive leaps. And to your point, Anne, about finding other people in the community, buddies that you can run stuff past, creating little, like, you know, like we started as an accountability group. We didn't think we were starting a company. We're like, hey, I need help with my AI homework, and I need someone to tell me what's going on. And that's like how we got together. And a couple months later, here we are. We got a logo and everything. It's wild. It's wild, wild stuff. And if this is like, I know a bunch of people here in the chat are, thank you so much. Keep them coming. I love all that fire in the chat. It is fantastic. I love all your questions and your comments. If for you or for other people, you're like, I really would like some additional help with this, we are doing an intensive, get ready, buckle up. We are doing an intensive AI adoption blueprint for 2024. You can scan the QR code. If you or you know someone that might benefit from this, this is a great way to get a blueprint, and our team can help you with it. And you can see, if you scan it, you'll see all the goodies that you get with it. We'll do a whole audit of what you're up to, what you want to do, and we can get in there and really point you towards some awesome solutions for your pain points. So feel free to share that with anybody. And if you do send someone our way, let us know. We'll send you a little something, something. Okay, so Joshy, what are some other things that you feel like would be helpful to get people right out of the gate?
Yeah, I think talking strategy out the gate is the most important piece here. And I'll cue over to Sarah for a couple of points in just a sec with this. So when we're looking at meetings and the way they have been and the way they're going to become, like, it's very common for, inside of the AI echo chamber, us to be using these assistants and talking about automated workflows and all these different kind of tips and tricks that we're using and leveraging different AI tools or different processes to speed up the things that we're doing. Sarah, can you talk about why it's so important that we talk about this now? as it relates to, there's tools that exist that are these meeting assistants, but there's also bespoke custom automations that we build. And why would maybe a company move towards one or the other direction, and why would they need our help?
I think it's important to, when you're starting in the world of AI, is to experiment. So I think it's for some companies thinking that they have to jump in, and just get involved and build all these automated and bespoke solutions right from the get-go. And I think that a first step would be, if you're not familiar with AI and what it could do, is to get familiar with the tools out there, because then you get to have a sense of what works for you and your organization and your teams as it relates to a particular use case and what doesn't work. And so that's one of the things that I think it's important to bring up as companies start to think about their adoption, is to have this culture of experimentation and of being able to use your AI intuition, as we've said in this session today, about what works with these AI tools and what doesn't work. And then you're able to help bring on a team on board like ours to help co-design a solution that actually works for you and your organization.
Great job. Yeah, I love that. The co-design piece is really important. Rich asked a great question, and this is one of the common things that people will ping us for. There are a number of tools, like you mentioned, Fathom, Otter, Build Better. The list goes on. Zoom has an AI companion. And the main thing we think about with these tools is, what else can they do? Like, the baseline is that an assistant comes to your meeting, records the call, that in a way that you could go back to specific points in the call, transcribes everything, and provides a summary. Like, those 4 elements are the main thing that all of them do. Some do better than others. Like, my personal favorite, I'm a big Fathom guy because it's accessible to people. But the next steps of, okay, you have all those things, now what, is where we're going to focus the main part of making a system that works for you. Because if imagine everybody in your team has meeting assistants coming to everything and doing all of this documentation and putting it into, say, the shared app. You have this app platform that has all this great data, like all the meeting recordings that you could search against. Like, Fathom has that, Build Better has that, Otter has that. So that's one of those features, okay, centralizing the conversations we're having is here. Now what? Can you chat against those conversations? Can you pull the context from that discussion? Sorry, my green screen is bugging out on me. So can you pull conversations from here and there and draw a connection without having to have another meeting to talk about the things, right? So we're looking at meeting assistants being a data kind of generator, but then looking at the bespoke side of it is, okay, you have all this data, now what? If you just are storing the information, that's great, because you can go into the historical references, you can see summaries, you can get teammates caught up, but you want a meeting assistant or a meeting follow-up sequence that does work for you, like the administrative tasks that happen when you stop the meeting. And has great use cases about how she does this. Well, the meeting summary needs to be distributed to the people on the call and some people on her team. And then there's a task list that gets created because we talked about ideas and we're going to take some homework away. Where do those agenda items or those task list items get sent? Do they get added automatically to your project management tool? If you're just using one of the off-the-shelf solutions, they may not. And some of the tools allow us to connect with automation platforms to start to control more of the follow-up tasks after the fact. So when we're looking at assessing these tools, we want to look at the whole cycle of, okay, the meeting assistant showed up, great. Now you have the follow-up information, but do you get to collaborate with your team more efficiently? Do you get to remove some of those tedious tasks of all right, I got to create a ticket inside of my project tool and assign it to somebody? Or can we just connect that and automate that part away? So that's kind of what we're looking for with the AI assistant, the meeting assistant specifically. And they're getting better and better on the meeting preparation side of tools that are coming along. But for the time being, we still use a hybrid between solutions we've designed with our own automation sequences, like the one that Tyler showed in Respell, and some that we're building on top of the other apps that these great teams that are venture-backed startups are building for us with more features. So a long-winded answer to, I like Fathom because it can check a lot of those boxes. They just are rolling out their premium, but we're not sponsored, so that's a free ad.
That's right. That's right. No affiliate link, unfortunately, in this moment. But
yeah, not this second. They have them.
not this. We gotta every time. The auto transcribe should also just like be clickable affiliate links, right? Every time we drop a name.
Yeah. Hope that answers your question, Rich.
Oh, that was so clear, Josh. You're such a great communicator. Tyler, T-Dog, or as I like to call him, Zoom Daddy. That's because he has all the Zoom logins.
Yeah, like we've tried all of these things. Like between all of us, like I don't think there's a meeting recorder that we haven't tested yet. Like my personal opinion on them, yeah, like Kevin, I just saw a comment about Sybil. Love that one. Like there's so many good ones. The problem that I'm seeing is like the follow-up email never quite sounds exactly like me or covers the things that I wanted to talk about, which is what Josh was getting to with the with the kind of custom hybrid model of how we get the information and then we adjust it in the follow-up email. And the power of like that joint knowledge base, like what you're talking about, Josh, is like this. Like here's a really practical example. We had a second meeting with a client the other day. We had recorded both of the meetings, so we had transcriptions from both of them. And then we also had in that same knowledge base all the information about the Light Magic team, what we do, products we offer, all these sorts of things. So that when I clicked literally write the follow-up email was the prompt that I put in, it knew my voice paragraph, how I like to write that. It knew information from both meetings and all the information from Light Magic, and just bam, spit out that email. I had to do like a few minor edits to it still, and then just copy paste it right into Gmail and send it on its merry way. Like that would have taken me so long to write and articulate an email that good without that kind of a tool. Like that's the power in that. And it went out in it was under 15 minutes from when the second call ended, I think is in that particular instance. So like, I'm not good at fast follow-up. These tools help me with that in that regard.
Oh my gosh, it's so important, right? I also, the fast follow-up was like the bane of my communication, and now with these tools, another app that I'll drop without an affiliate link, Spark AI is a great email client that I really like. I think I turned 2 people on the group onto it. It's really great and they also have like, I feel like we've seen a lot of AI roll out in a lot of different products. But what I like about them too is it just helps me see what's important out of the gate. And then I can link it to all these other things. And guess what? I got my Gmail that I've had for 10 years down to 0. It happened yesterday. I was like, for one moment, there are 0 emails. I feel I've leveled up. I've ascended.
I feel like that about our Slack channel, honestly.
Oh my gosh. We'll get there. We're working on it. We have a lot of ideas.
Yes.
We have so much to say, Sarah. Yes. Sarah, you also have some other thoughts about some of these bots and banter. Ooh, there's another one we could do.
That's a good one, bots and banter. That's actually a play on bites and banter. If you're tuning in and you don't know what we're actually talking about, every Friday we have like an open mic type night. Actually, it's during the day for us.
Morning, whatever time you're at.
It's an open mic thing where, anyone can jump in a Zoom call with us like this and get to hang and just riff on AI, and it's so much fun. I didn't make it to last week's, but I know that there were like 3 or 4 people that jumped in, and yeah, it seemed like a lot of fun. But one of the things as well that we love to do with our meetings, and we love to provide clients, so when you show up to a meeting and there's just so much information, and maybe you get a report, maybe you get like a summary and all these things, but then you're just trying to piece everything together because there's just so much like richness in terms of the content, and you're like trying to work it out. So one of the things that we offer as part of the intensive, the AI adoption intensive that we're doing, is alongside a session with two of us as team members and a roadmap and a blueprint that's customized to your business, we provide a chatbot alongside our meeting. So that means that you get to ask questions against either the meeting that we had or ask questions against the blueprint and the document. So that meeting that we had and that blueprint kind of lives on forever. You can still check in, you can pass it along to team members, they can ask questions against it. So that's one of the things that I think that is like one of the level ups that have come with AI is enabling people to like really get into a deeper understanding of meanings and of content and of strategies that you have as part of these conversations. And instead of them kind of like being in your brain for 20 minutes and then after the meeting, these get to live on forever because you can continue to ask questions, you can continue to strategize against them.
Yeah, I love that, Sarah. It's like what Josh was speaking to earlier about what are you going to do with all this centralized data? It's like, great, you have all this data. What are you going to do with it, right? And like, there's no humanly way to remember all of it. And I think that's what's one of the cool things about the release of like GPTs. Everyone is empowered to start loading in their data if they want to opt into that service. There's other ways of doing it, and potentially ways that add another layer of security. And also, if you're comfortable giving your data over to the GPT platform, it's enabled a way to talk against your own chat with your own data points, right? Talk to your meetings that you've had. I love, there's some other services that we're playing with right now, and there's some cool stuff coming out soon where you can just talk against like any bit of data, maybe a meeting, or like, what was that thing that like Anne was talking about? I can't remember. Oh, it was something about this. And it's like, boom, boom, boom. There it is. What were my action items with it? I love that post meeting too. Like, what are Hunter's action items from this meeting? So I can do my things for my teams. Because I can't remember all of it. I've always been an early adopter of like the digital brain, where it was like, even my boyfriend of 14 years, he's like, what are you doing tomorrow? I'm like, let me look at my calendar because I can't think past today. And this is like the next level of that, right? Oh yeah, Kevin, you got some fire going on in the chat. You got some fire. Let's see what Kevin's got to say. New problem. All your staff now create 10x more data. Yes, correct. So now we're creating so much more data. Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo. Who wants to pop in on this? Josh, you got something to say. Oh, you're muted. I muted you because I'm Stream Daddy. You are now unmuted.
Cool. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
All right. Kevin, to your point, exactly. There's 10 times more data to work with. And one of the common problems as organizations scale is that information is all decentralized. Like, I know stuff that you don't know. Sarah knows stuff that I don't know. And none of us have talked to Anne, right? Like that's a common problem. That, like, the more departments you have, the more team members, the larger everything becomes. And most of the time, unless you have analytics pulling from like the apps you use, you're not getting data. So we're looking at it in the optimistic side of things. Like, now you have data where you never did. And if you're basing your decisions, your strategies, and your direction in your company off of the data that you have, now the team members, as you start to replace these tedious tasks, can look at the data, right? They can start to pull things together with the help of these AI assistants and platforms in ways that could not have happened before. And oftentimes people will talk about AI and efficiency. I'm a big efficiency nut because I'll get into the automation side of things. But when you talk about unlocking new opportunities because you can put new insights together using real data, that's the unlock here. That, it's still way, way, way early for that to really resonate and click with, I guess, the uninitiated. But our hope is that with Meeting Assistant, like, it's a really accessible way to start posing this conversation, because every company has to have it. Not just what do we do with AI, but now we have data. What do we do? Now we don't have to do the same job. What do we do? Sarah?
Yeah, I think there's some really creative ways that you can actually draw out of these new possibilities. As an example, for our team, every single meeting that we attend, we record. So we have this like ongoing record of a lot of data about us and our conversations and what goes on, and like a really creative way that you can use that, that's not just like summarizing a meeting and action points, is like, well, how do we describe our brand voice or our mission or our values? Like being able to ask an AI system that, because even though we might not be thinking about it while we're discussing things in our internal meetings, they're captured and they're stored, and now we can actually find really creative ways of bringing those ideas like that out into the ether, really.
Yeah, totally. And you can, oh, sorry, Anne, you got something? No? Oh, sorry, you're muted. I muted you. There you go.
Okay, so same, like there's this thing of like the proliferation of information that we're definitely gonna have to figure out what to do with. But the application that Sarah was just talking about came in such handy for me just yesterday, because I was writing about I was writing about a nonprofit initiative, and I just did not have enough information. But I had multiple conversations with the executive director about this initiative in spoken word, and I recorded those meetings. So what I was able to do was just go back and get those words that she used, because as I was writing it, it was just boring. It was like, I don't know, I couldn't make it come alive. But I had those recordings, and I was able to ask for what are the words that she used to describe this initiative, and now all of a sudden my writing was compelling and succinct and persuasive, at which, as a consultant, I have to, that's my job. So I was able to do my job better just because I had all that knowledge, available to me. It was really a nice unlock. Like, if I can't find it out there, I have it in my recording.
Yeah, totally. Another thing I love that we do because we record all of our meetings, we have these wonderful aha moments recorded, documented in time, and ideas shared. Or maybe we're a very heart-to-heart group. We have like very meaningful conversations about our personal lives that we create safe spaces around. So and then we're getting SHIT done as well. So there's those moments happening, and so there's this wonderful like cornucopia of footage. And what you could do with it, and we've done some of this too, is repurposing some of those moments into content that you can blast out onto socials, onto TikTok. If you have all these videos, like with this platform in particular, we can export all the streams individually, and then we can go drop them in some automated social media app generators and organizers and schedulers, and then you have your content created. Because how many times in this group alone have we been working all day, and then it's 11 o'clock and we're like, I need to make a video for TikTok, and we do it. And we're all about like, work smarter, not harder, and we're our own best use case. So we have all this video content, and then we're like, great, here's here's a 1 minute snippet of it, drop it into this app, post it off, go to sleep, hug my dog, spend time with my family, kids, meditate, take a bath, maybe a nice. And are you like a bath and a Merlot person? I feel like I can see like, no, not at all. Not at all. What's Anne's little like unplug and relax? Dog time? Family time?
No, it's I like to eat oranges in the shower.
Frozen oranges in the shower? See, we learn something great every call, friend. That is great. I'm going to give it one of these. Let's do a frozen oranges in the shower party.
Yeah, you put, just so we're clear, you peel the orange and you put the orange peels on the ground, and the hot water releases the oils from the orange peels.
Oh my gosh, that's so smart.
I love that. I'm gonna try that
I know.
tonight.
And then,
And
no one's watching you when you eat the cold orange. So you have a hot water, cold orange.
my mind and my senses are blown right now. That is so soothing after, because you got your own natural. Why pay for essential oils? They're marked up anyway. You got it in your hand right there. Don't waste that fruit rind goodness. Oh my gosh. See, everyone's afraid AI is going to replace everything. That can't replace that. And I can never replace the image of you doing that in my head now. It's just like, oh, it's just like framed, not burned, you know, so that's a negative connotation. It's like framed in like a gold plated, orange plated frame in my mind. Beautiful. Well, what a goofy, wonderful time. I had fun. Let's, you know, I think we can't really beat that. I think we're going to have to go out on that. I hope everyone had a great time learning about stuff with us. If you want to do the intensive or share it, if you want to do the intensive and share it with your friends, anything like that, it's your blueprint for next year. We tried to keep, you know, at a low a low barrier of entry for folks, make it more accessible. It's an investment that's worth it, because you'll see there are prices all over the internet right now for some things. Do your research before you sign up for something. Do your research on us, you know, read it, keep coming to events, make sure where the money is, their mouth is where their money is, the money is where the mouth is, whatever that phrase is. Make sure that's real, because we're a community. We got to watch out for each other. And there are some very, very smart people. And there's also some other stuff out there. So I hope you do your homework. And I hope everyone has a wonderful shower orange bath today after this call and has a great time. So with that, Zoom Daddy, do you want to just wave by? There he is. There's our Zoom Daddy with his internet issues.
It's been super glitchy. I've been playing the statue game over here from Blue, is what it feels like.
Oh my gosh. Well, this was so fun. Our next one coming up, we have something like every day, don't we? We have something like every single gosh darn day.
Yes.
What's happening tomorrow, Anne?
Tomorrow is AI applied, and of applied AI, and I'm not exactly sure what it is, but it's going to be dope. It'll be related to meetings.
Yes, we have AI applied tomorrow. We have Bites and Banter on Friday, where everyone can come hop on the Zoom call. Those are super fun, where it's like we got like a whole group of people just like firing off use cases and pain points, and people are calling from all over the world. We had someone from West Africa one time. It's so cool. It's so cool. So this has been fun. I'm gonna get some lo-fi grooves in here, play us out. Oh yeah, there it is. This has been the Light Magic AI team. Y'all enjoy that shower. Those oranges. Ooh yeah. See you next time, y'all.